Hello, everyone. This is Z with Unlocking Greatness Podcast. Good to see you all. I want to talk today. I want to give a very short lesson called You Don't Know What You Don't Know. So, again, you don't know what you don't know. There's a story. The man name is Darby. I don't know his first name, but way back during the gold rush years, when everyone was mining for gold and making a ton of money, he went in to mine some gold. And I guess he found an area where there was some really rich ore, O-R-E. And ore later has to be smelted and turned into, extract the gold from it. But he found what's called a vein. So a vein is almost like, let's just say, for lack of better terms, a line. So a line of gold coming in. And he quickly hid it and went and got his family and got all the equipment and spent all this money getting everything together, came back to the spot, and he began to mine for gold. And the way the story goes, and it's a true story, you all can research it on your own, is he found a lot of ore. And that ore was sent to the smelter to be processed, right? So they were finding ore left and right, and he wasn't quite out of debt, from all that he had invested. And just as things were really starting to go, the vein went dead. I'm probably using the wrong term, but that's my terminology. The vein went dry, and they were not able to find any more ore, right? Which is where they make the gold from. They were not able to find any more ore, or I should say where they were able to extract the gold from. And so they searched and searched and searched, and were never able to find any more ore. And they searched the veins, that were kind of around it, and tried many different ways of digging and finding it. And they had, his family and everyone is just trying to find where's another vein, another pathway where this gold is coming from. And they gave up. They figured that they had extracted all of the ore that they could get. And so, unfortunately, he ended up leaving that spot, and he ended up selling that mining area to some junk man, some random person for like next to literally nothing, right? And he went on in life and did some other things, selling insurance and some other things. But that's not the part of the story I want to get at. The part of the story I want to get at is that he sold it. And he sold it to some junk man who then took a look at it. And he thought to himself, I don't really know how to find where another vein possibly could be running from, on this in this area, but I'm going to go and get an expert. So he actually went and hired a mining expert to come in and to evaluate the area. And I don't know if you know anything about mining experts, but these people know their stuff. They're able to look at the mountain or look at the area, and they're able to look back almost with precision. And they're able, based on the soil and where things are at, they're able to determine the pathways of where the next vein is running from. And wouldn't you know it, this expert found that there would be another vein of gold, huge vein of gold, in fact, only 3 feet away from where Darby and everyone in his family left off. Only 3 feet away. So they began to dig. And guess what? They found it. So this person who was a junk man, just follow me for a second, made millions upon millions upon millions of dollars because someone didn't know what he didn't know. He got discouraged, probably distracted, evaluated the situation based on how he saw things, and he walked away from it. And this other person made, I don't know the exact amount, but it was a tremendous amount. You guys can Google that history yourself. Made a ton. Now, Darby went on to do some other things. He went on to sell life insurance or something, but he said he learned from that lesson. And he said, I stopped 3 feet of the gold. I'll never in my life stop 3 feet again, and I'll never in my life allow, myself to be discouraged or to fall back, from whatever I'm pursuing. And he still went on to do well in life, but he applied that hard lesson to everything else that he did in life. So the title of this short little podcast is, Sometimes You Don't Know What You Don't Know. Could it be possible the situation that you're in, and the situation that you're looking at, whether it's your dreams, your goal, your business, situation where maybe you're just feeling completely stuck. You're just looking at your story like, there's just nothing here. There's nothing more I can do. I wish I had time to turn to the story of the widow's oil, and I've talked about that before. You guys know, when they came to take her sons away because she couldn't pay her debt, and the prophet asked her, "What do you have left? What's in your house?" She's like, "I have nothing. Like, there's nothing here. I just got this little bit of it." You know what I mean? I wish I had time to turn to that, but I've already talked on 2 situations involving that story. So you can go back and listen to some old podcast episodes. But the premise of those previous podcasts was, and I think I called that episode "Look Again." I think that was one of the titles, and I think the other one was something about what do you have in your hands. But I won't go into that because I've already recorded on that. But sometimes we can be in situations where we're like, there's nothing else I can do. This situation is pretty dire. Like, I don't have any money, right? Or I just lost my job, or my marriage is in the dump, or, this situation is going on in the workplace, but I've tried so many times and my products are not selling, or I've tried everything I've done, nothing really become of it, or I'm just stuck. I've tried everything I know to do. What more do I do? Just remember that story about Darby and this person walking away, and he was only 3 feet away from one of the largest fines in history. Let that just soak in. And what was the difference? Someone came in with a keen eye to be able to look. Someone came in as an expert to be able to look and say, this is where the vein should be about 3 feet away from here. And someone who was a junk man, who got the property, I want to say it was for like $100, whatever it was, he sold it very, very cheap, like next to nothing. He turned around and became a mega millionaire as a result of it. And this is history. This is true. This happened. Could it be possible? You're looking at your situation because you don't know what you don't know. Let me read a passage. And this is why I stress mentorship and coaching is so important. And I'm not doing this as a pitch to get into my mentorship program. I want to make that really clear. But it is so important that you seek expert counsel, that you seek wisdom, you seek advice. I don't care if you go out buying books. I read so many books on mindset changes, so many books on business development, so many books on God, on the Bible. Well, mainly I read the Bible a lot when it comes to the Bible, but so many other reference books that really helped me to understand what was going on in history and at that time, You have, sometimes you don't know what you don't know. And it takes someone coming in and being able to sort of stand over your shoulders. Now, keep in mind, the Holy Spirit does that for us as well, just to be extremely clear. But we fall short sometimes when it comes to really, getting that mindset change that we need, getting the experts in, I actually have 2 coaches. I get coached by 2 people a month. One for my business and one for my personal development. And to be honest with you, 90% of what I learn from them I already know, but I search for that extra little 10%. It's that extra 10% that's made a tremendous difference in my life. Let's read this passage real quick. Proverbs 15. What verse is this? Verse 22. It says, "Plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors they succeed." Let me read that again. Plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors, they succeed. One of the things that I thought about on Mondays in my mentorship program, I do personal and professional development, and I just love it. In fact, I'm getting ready to go live in less than an hour from now to do an entire session with them, and we turn it into workshop questions and answers and all that. And on Wednesdays, I meet with business owners and entrepreneurs. And what's so amazing, I wish I can give the stories, but I really want to protect their privacy. When we meet on Wednesdays, and I always start off with a story, some sort of a Bible lesson or whatever that I give, and then we open it up for question and answers, and we talk through situations going on with either starting a business or what's going on in our business or maybe where we're stuck. It never fails. It's so beautiful. I have chills on my arm. When all of the people in the community come together, because we're on a Zoom call, when we all come together in that meeting, it's so amazing that someone is sitting there. Oh, I wish I can give the example, but I want to protect their privacy. But someone is sitting there with a unique situation, and we're all looking at it like, are you kidding me? Like, everyone's looking at the situation like, you just need to do this. And then when we talk about it, the person who's given the scenario, I'm trying my best not to mention specific examples because I just like protecting privacy, because they're business owners and or starting a business. It's almost as if their eyes open up like, I actually never really thought about that. It's amazing when you get counsel, when you seek wise counsel and get input. That's what's so amazing is that, and even for myself, I'm no different. Let me just be extremely clear. That's why I have two coaches I get with every month, right? I go into my situations and I talk about what's going on, because you all know I've been in business for a while, and now I do my podcast, and now I'm just now, by the grace of God, launching a mentorship program, and I was having some insecurities about that, like, God, is this really what you want me doing? And am I really bringing value, despite, all of the positive feedback everyone gives me? But, and my coach is able to stand back and say, Z, are you kidding me? Do you see da 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 da? And I'm like, oh, I never thought about that. We have to seek counsel and get advice. Think about Darby with how he walked away from something that could have changed his family for generations. He was 3 feet away from the gold and didn't see it. Now, for whatever reason, I don't know why he didn't get a mining specialist. I have no idea. But for whatever reason, he gave up and walked away. There's another passage I want to talk about. And I did talk about this last week during one of my live training sessions. I think it's Colossians 3. Colossians 3, verse 23. It says, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as though working for the Lord, not for men. Let me read that one more time. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for men. And the reason that passage is so important is it's so easy for us at times to get discouraged and to just give up. And please do not think that I'm not in that category. I have my moments of discouragement, trust me, I really do. But I have to remind myself, and I talked about this last week when I was in one of my live workshop training sessions, whatever we do, we have to do it as though we're working for the Lord. This is not just about me. What efforts am I putting in this to go all in on, what, God, I'm putting this before you. Show me what you want me to do. That's why I was up earlier this morning diving into my Bible deeply, even last night. Then reading some other books this morning on mindset development changes. I had just read the story this morning on Darby. Why? Because I'm reading a book that talks about mindset changes. And that beautiful story was in there about Darby, about what he did, the mistake he made, and how he gave up so quickly. He didn't seek to get any kind of professional or any kind of help. And he walked away from what he had been wanting his whole life. I just read that. So I try my best to dedicate, well, I should be, sometimes it's not always 2 hours, almost 2 hours in the morning just on learning. So if you go in my living room, you'll see the books that I have out in front of me that I'm reading. Things on, cybernetics, how the mind works, how people think, mindset changes, all types of principles of running a business. Going deeper, into my Bible. I'm reading a book on the story of Peter. You have to do everything as though you're working for the Lord. And so I want to encourage you. I don't want anyone being discouraged by this. I want to encourage you to start developing your mindset, working on going deeper in your knowledge, the things that you're exposing yourself to. In this season, baby, listen to me carefully, and I'm going to wrap this up with this. You cannot afford to be what I call spiritually lazy. I ask God all the time, God, forgive me for spiritual laziness. Now, you guys may say, Z, you read your Bible all the time. That ain't spiritually lazy to me. No, I want to go higher. I told God, I can't be this low. You got to take me higher. You got to take me higher. I have to be close to you because that's where I belong. I have to be. And I'm willing to put in the time and the effort and do whatever I need to do. If you want to be waking me up at midnight to pray, that's what I'm going to do. If I need to be fasting, if I need to be reading all kinds of books so I can understand the Bible better, that's what I need to do. If I need to be reading all types of mindset changes and learning how to not only grow my business, but how to help and inspire others, that's what I need to do. But you got to take me higher. In this season of your life, baby, you cannot afford to be emotionally unintelligent, meaning you're just responding and reacting to everything comes your way. I talked about that last week in my live workshop session, teaching them not to be distracted easily by just anything that comes their way. Can't afford to do that. No. You can't. You have to invest in your mindset. You have to make sure that you're not only growing in your walk with God, but also in your professional life as well. Okay? This is a season where you've got, here's my 2 cents on this. This is a season where literally you have to be on fire. That's what I've been asking God. Set me on fire. Let me be on fire. Let me just soak up knowledge. Let me seek counsel. Let me be wise. Remember King Solomon asked for wisdom. Remember that? Let me be wise in what I do. This is the season, baby, where you have to be wise. You have to be on fire. You have to guard the things that you're allowing to go in your mind. This is not a season to be watching TV all day and on social media all day and maybe doing a little bit of efforts and getting discouraged and then just, going and vegging out on eating something or what. This is not that season. This is the season where you go all in as though you are working for the Lord. And whatever resources that you're able to tap into so that you can grow spiritually, so that your eyes can be open, so you can get that input and get that help that you need. This is that season where you need to be focusing in on that. There's too much riding on this season right now. And I believe for many of you, this is the season where you're going to grow beyond what you can even possibly imagine. But sometimes you don't know what you don't know. And if you just stay in your little bubble, as did Darby, and I say that with a tremendous amount of respect because I don't know much about his family, right? But as did, at least from what I read, they gave up when they were 3 feet away from the goal, and they didn't take that extra step to seek counsel and to get the advice and the help they need, right? This is a season where we can't miss out on that, all right? So you invest in yourself, baby, okay? Spiritually, personally, professionally, in whatever way that you can, all right? And you do everything as though you're working for the Lord, okay? I love you all. Be encouraged.